Our system of Islam, society doesn't make things right and wrong. There is an absolute standard which we can use, from which we will say this is right, this is wrong. Because that only then we can say something is right, something is wrong. Otherwise, you cannot come along and say this is right, this is wrong. So the system that Islam provides, which I would like you to look into.
Someone has already given me multiple.
Sure. To look into.
So let me go very slowly.
Okay.
Unless you say, well, okay, then no. The definition of religion, forget what England says. Unless it says, but you see, I tell you 4 times, but you still don't get it, that's why I'm repeating myself.
I get what you're saying, I don't believe.
I don't want to repeat, but because you don't understand, I still repeating.
I don't understand.
So maybe the perception is very slow, that's why I'm repeating. I don't want to project no further. I would like to stop repeating. So religion definition means a way of life. So I'm telling you, if you're thinking carefully in what I'm saying, you will come to the conclusion with sincerity that you have a religion.
Sure. Why not? I want to stop talking about it so sure. I have a religion.
Why don't we just agree on the definition that you provide and see whether we can actually work on that one?
Well, I don't believe I have a religion. I don't have a definition for a religion, but yours is a way of life, a way of thinking.
No, I wouldn't have a problem with that. So basically, everyone has their own way of going about things, right?
Yes, of course.
So this is what we call our ideologies around life. So I have an idea which is so deep-rooted, and this is my ideology. So I may be very compassionate to animals and I become a vegetarian.
Yes, I am.
That could be my religion. That could be my way of life. You can define it in whatever you want, okay? So that's not a problem, identifying yourself in that way.
No.
I think
what... For me, that is not... The way that I am thinking about religion is by organized by religion. I think that is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about ethics or morals, because of course I have them. I'm a human like everyone else. But for me, that is more just the way that I conduct myself. That's more my personality. It's not a religion to me.
Sure. Because the idea of religion to most people is an organized religion, centralized to a linkage to a deity of some kind, or absence of a deity, right?
Is the way I'm
that's how you think about religion, okay? So I think what the brother is trying to say, that's fine. There's no point agreeing or disagreeing with this one. At least, we live our lives according to certain principles that we uphold. That's what it is, right? Now the question is, how should we live our lives? People disagree with that. You may say, look, I think we should live our life in mutual trust. We should live our life in harmony and compassion with each other. We should live our life according to principles which are good. So it could be that, okay, I should not harm you, you should not harm me.
Yes.
Yeah? That I should be kind when kindness is needed or not needed. Yeah, regardless. I mean, somebody may be in a need of help. It doesn't have to be me, but I can still show some kindness just because I think it's better to help. Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
So these kind of things we live our life by, but what the difference in the approach that you and other people may have is actually rest on our own existence.
Yes.
Okay? So you'll have an idea, an understanding of what you're supposed to do in this life, but is it necessarily linked with where did you come from? What are you doing here? And where are you going to go after you die, for example?
Yes.
These are central questions that I'm sure you have thought about it, haven't you? Right?
Yes.
Right. So this is where our differences may be. You may think, no, there is no God, there is no creator, the universe is what it is. Science gave us an understanding of this world, everything is natural.
It is true, but it does not give me a complete understanding, but yes, I
Something.
do.
And then what happens after life is, let's say everyone dies and the worm comes and eats you and so on and so forth. You can have an idea, an ideology based on this, okay? But does it give you, based on these ideologies, does it give you the comfort in your heart and the tranquility in your heart?
Yes.
Does it?
I am a happy, tranquil person with my place in life. I'm happy with my place in the world and my ethics and my morals and the way I interact with other people, and I don't think, for me at least, it's not necessary to have that specific idea of religion with the deity and the books and the teachings, but I understand that it's very important to some people, and I am completely fine fine with that. It's only once it starts to impact on my way of life and, you know, the way those people conduct themselves around me. And like, I believe religion can be wonderful. I believe it gives some people a wonderful place and a wonderful community, but I don't think it's necessary. And for me, it's not. My believings, it's not.
Do you think life is meaningful without God?
Yes.
Okay. So suppose now the idea of God is man-made. I'm going to try the negative part of it, the other aspects. Suppose there is no God, no creator, no originator. That means the world is there. You know, whether question about.
Is that not fantastic?
No. Let's take it to the right conclusions. So the world is there. People have different ideas about this world. Now, how is life meaningful? Because whatever you think, there is no such a right or wrong thing, because everything is meaningless in the sense that everything. Let me tell you why I think this is the case.
Sure.
Okay,
No,
and then perhaps you can argue with me. Because there's no creator, the concept of justice doesn't arise. Because what do you mean by justice? Nothing brought you into this life. Nothing asks you to be good. Nothing demands you to be good and just. So you live your life. Now, if something makes you happy, right? Say, what makes you happy is, you know, cheating people, deceiving people, to climb up the ladder, to be famous and successful. You get more money and you get more position and more power. If that makes you happy, for example, why should you stop cheating, deceiving? Because there is no morality that says that's wrong, because there is no idea of right and wrong in this case.
I don't know if humans are born with an inept sense of what is right and wrong.
There's no such thing.
But
In that view.
No, it isn't, because that is my view. And I was brought up by two atheist parents in a rather atheist community. And I still learned to be kind to others because we are a human race. We are in this world together. We are in this world to support each other and to help each other grow. And of course, there will be people who get by in life by cheating and hurting other people.
Are they wrong?
Yes.
Why?
Because we as a society, at least in this society, I don't know around the world, but we want to grow. We have created a place where we innovate, where we create, where we try and support each other. And for all those things to continue, we need to have those morals, we need to have those ethics, and they might differ a little bit. Some people might think truth is more important than kindness, or like things like that, and they're very important as well, because people are different. But still, if you hurt someone, then someone hurts someone back, and then it does get to you. So there are effects and causes and consequences. So if you aren't morally right or wrong, those come back to hurt you, and we learn. That's how children learn. Because if you're unkind to your friend, if you kick her and she kicks you back, that hurts you, that affects you. The circle continues, and we learn how to be just. I'm not saying everyone is just, I'm not saying everyone is kind, I'm not saying everyone has the right morals.
I'm thinking differently, because if there is no originator who originated us for a reason in this life, then there is no concept of justice or morality or any good values and principles. You are introducing this into your way of life, your ideology, because you think you are afraid, what we call, of something reciprocal happening to you.
Yes.
If you are hurting someone, hurt might come to you. But suppose now you are in a position of power, a Brazilian drug lord. Nothing can hurt you. You have the power and the position and the tools to protect you. You live like a king. You exploit and abuse people with your intent and might, and you die like a king. And you get away from the justice that you think so exists, right? Now,
But in your...
so, no, in this case, why should someone be afraid? Because that person says, look, I have the power, I can just blow up people just like that because I have the means. Press of a button, I can destroy the whole city, for example. So if someone does, so according to your thinking, if someone doesn't have the fear, then they're okay to actually live their life with deception, with bad morality of, killing people, murdering, raping.
Yes,
Yeah. So it's okay for them.
Well, yes, because we have those people in this society right now. Even with religion, we have those people in every single society.
So are you saying it's okay for them to do that?
I'm not saying it's okay for them to do that, but they will continue to be here.
No, let's understand again one thing. I want to know your reasons. Your reasons of why we should have ethics and morality is that fear that if I don't do good to others, bad will be done to me. Like,
I think, yes, we learn.
Right,
we learn lessons,
right.
And that is how humans
So
learn.
what if...
That is how we teach children.
Yeah, what if that fear is not in the equation?
How do we get rid of that fear? How do we get rid of human interaction?
The reasons why you're trying to be good, trying to be just and kind, and not to abuse and exploit and deceive people and be dishonest, it seems to be linked to the idea that the loss of something in return if you didn't behave that way.
Like, I assume in your religion you get taught to be kind and to have those ethics correct.
Let's let religion aside.
No, I'm not talking
We are talking on a principle. I apologize to cut you off. I apologize. We are talking on a principle level. There is no God. There is no originator. So we are there floating around in the universe, making a life meaningful to our own selves. Now, so why should one who is not afraid, have no fear that police will come and get me and people will come and get me? Because you're... No, let's understand something. We are trying to understand these issues of being kind and good and just. If there is no fear associated with you, then to kill someone unjustly and to rape someone, murder someone, cheat and exploit and abuse, all the bad things that you know of, right? To do these things, why would that be not okay?
Because you still live in a society that honors...
Doesn't care. That person doesn't care.
Of course.
What makes him happy is what he cares or she cares. For example, if I was a Brazilian drug lord and I'm not afraid of anyone or anything, I have the power and the means to live my life like a king and abuse and exploit and do all the bad things that you would abhor and say, desist, don't do that. Suppose now I'm in a position, why should I live the way you're living? Like, oh, try to be charitable. No, I don't need to. What makes me happy is by killing people, for example. Suppose killing people makes me happy. So you're saying and my way of thinking is actually okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm not saying that.
Why would my thinking of my way of life be wrong?
Because there is still a society with values.
I don't care. I don't care.
And those people exist even in this society.
No. I don't care because at the end of the day,
there are going to be horrible people.
No, listen.
There are going to be horrible people.
My sister in humanity. Yes. If there is no consequence and justification of our actions in your beliefs, if there is no accountability and responsibility in the hereafter.
By other humans, not by a higher source, by others.
No. What I'm saying is, leave others aside. I don't care what.
Yes, sure, but if you are leaving others aside, I want to talk, please.
Go ahead.
Those people will exist no matter what society we are in.
Yeah.
I don't think it has anything to do with if we're living in a society controlled by the Bible, by the Quran, by atheism, by science. Those people are always going to exist. People have no disregard. We have disregard for other people's well-being. I'm not saying like everyone. I don't want everyone to be an atheist. That is my.
What I didn't understand is if I'm in a position of power and authority, right? Then my way of life is my way of life that makes me happy, right? So if killing people makes me happy, you shouldn't say, you shouldn't do that, because that's your way of life, maybe not to kill others. No, we're not talking about religion. You're confusing the issue. I'm saying we're living in a model. Let's understand this. No, you don't understand my point though. I am saying, suppose we agree there is no God by sake of argument. If there is no God, there is no moral accountability.
That is not true. You have accountability to your other human
Where did that come from?
What do you mean?
No. Where did that accountability come from? No, where did that come from?
I told you before, there is a sense of fear that is part of it.
But if I'm not afraid?
You're afraid of your God. It's the
No.
You're scared of your other
My sister, again, you're bringing God in. In our example, there is no God, right? In our argument. So don't bring God in.
Okay.
In a godless universe, we are living our life according to our own ideologies.
Yes.
Now, suppose I am a very powerful person. What makes me happy is making me happy by, doing all the bad things.
Right. Talk about evolution.
No.
Let's talk about. It's not really good for like evolutionary for you to want to kill other people.
Wait. Evolution says in one of the models, the survival of the fittest. Maybe I am that fit guy, which has all the power and authority to destroy everyone else for that person's own happiness. So suppose that I want to be happy because that will make me fit.
You think if we're in society, I'm going to say the word God, that is what I'm going to say.
No, there is no God in this equation.
I need to talk about God.
So I find it strange though. I find it strange, my sister. What's your name? Audrey, I'm Mansur. I find it strange. The atheists or person who doesn't believe in God, people who don't believe in God, cannot get away from bringing God into the equation. It's impossible for them. I'm saying, look, the model, I'd like you to respond. The model we are proposing is it's a godless model. Yes. There is no God. Yes. So don't bring God in. We're not interested in a God in this moment. So in a model like this, in a situation like this, so I am bringing you an example. I am bringing an example where I am saying what makes me happy is to say kill people, right? Right. So if that makes me happy, that's my way of life, and you're saying no, I'm accountable to someone else. I'm saying
accountable to other humans.
Why am I accountable? Who decides that?
And they're equal. None of them is higher than him.
I don't care about other human beings.
Okay, then you are a horrible person just like you would be.
Why is he horrible?
Right. Doesn't matter if I'm horrible, that makes me happy. Because I know there is no life after death.
Let me to, like a higher being.
No. Again,
you are calling us other
Audrey, you're again bringing another higher being. In our model, there is no higher being. This is all the life that we have.
People equal,
brother, 1 second. This is all the life we have. So I know in this model, I have only how many lives? Only one life. So in this one life, if killing people, raping people makes me happy. Of course, God forbid this ever happens to anyone, right? Okay? Because we are decent people. I'm just giving you an example for the sake of argument. Suppose now I was that horrible person who is happy by doing all these things. And that person, me, for example, thinks this is only one life. And I think, okay, fine, I'm going to do whatever makes me happy because that's only one life I have. Why should I be restricted by your arbitrary sense of goodness and morality and justice because somehow, it will, if I don't become good to you, I might be reciprocally being bad to me by other people. But if I don't fear about bad things happening to me because I am in a position of power and authority and money and wealth, then basically you're saying I can just live my life accordingly and there should not be any accountability. What justice? What justice? Wait. What justice? No. This is a kangaroo court. What justice? There is one life. Audrey, in this model, there is no God. There is only one life. And we know that certain things makes us happy, certain things makes us sad. So if I want to live my life and to my fullest, to fulfill my life, the one life I have, I should try to fulfill what makes me happy. This is my ideology.
That does not mean we
if by doing that, I don't care what you define as justice. Because
so you're a superhuman who can't be put in jail.
No. Why?
We still have lawyers. We still have society. We still have phones which I can call the police on. It's not.
I can just press a button and destroy the whole lawyers in their court and.
So you're magic. You're magic.
No magic. No, it's not magic. Do you know what happens? Do you know, Audrey? Do you know? Certain countries, they go to another country. Certain countries, they invade another country, with some pretext. Like we went to Iraq with the pretext of weapons of mass destruction that never existed, right? And we destroyed the whole civilization and the people, thousands of children.
Okay, so
now, people do that. Now, what I'm saying is, why are you blaming them if that makes them happy in that model?
Because we all have a sense of belonging in our society.
I don't. You do. I don't.
You do.
But that does not mean that other people do not. That does not mean you are not accountable. And if you are,
why am I going to be accountable? I don't care.
I'm not saying the world is perfect. I'm not saying a world of atheism is going to result in everyone being happy and rainbows and sunshine. I'm saying, sure, there might be a corrupt person who blows up everything.
No, you call me corrupt, but that makes me happy. If something makes me happy, you call me corrupt.
Make you sad.
No. Listen. If blowing innocent people in a bus or an automobile makes me happy, you're taking my happiness away from me. You are a corrupt person. You are actually an evil person who are imposing some sense of morality and justice. Audrey, do you see that? In my view.
Now we're talking on
obviously.
but this has nothing to do with God. That just has to do with
No, that's the model. If there is no God, you cannot come to me and say, you know what, be good, be just. I'm saying I don't care.
Because there isn't a God, and I'm saying it right now.
No, I'm saying, okay.
Okay.
I will say, Audrey, you are entitled to your opinion, but I don't buy it. But I'm entitled to my opinion.
I'm very happy that your religion makes you happy. I'm very happy that your religion provides for that community and that sense of purpose in life. And that is so fantastic for you. I'm really glad about that.
So you're okay with me killing people then?
No, I said I'm okay with you having a religion. I didn't say I was okay with you murdering.
But why do you bring religion in? I am providing a model in which there is no God, and we live in a godless society, godless nation, godless earth, with our own made purpose.
Okay, so let's just, we're not humans, okay? We're, I don't know,
humans.
Dogs for example. Dogs do not believe in
tigers.
God. That does not mean they don't have
tigers and
society,
crocodiles.
And that does not mean that they don't have like cannibalism and
tigers and crocodiles. All these carnivores, which are at the top of the jungle, right?
Yeah.
Do they say, I'm going to feel some compassion because you know what? I'll just. Humans, according to this model,
creatures,
we
survive in groups, which means we want to preserve the groups in society.
So if you're a tiger, if you were a tiger, would you say, I'm going to let that deer go out of compassion?
No, because
if you're hungry, and there is this deer coming through, would you say, I'm going to let it go? Or would you say, I don't care?
Well, we can think tigers don't have conscious thought and conscious streams of, decision making in such a way that, we don't have...
But we are just animals like all these other animals, right? In this model, we are just other animals. We cannot claim... We cannot
have consciousness, and we can recognize each other in the mirror, and I can pull up a list of why we're not like any other animal, but sure.
Where did consciousness arise in this model?
I have no idea. I'm not a scientist.
This is where this model doesn't work. No. Audrey, this is how. So far, have I quoted anything from the book? Any book? No. So as you can see, our acceptance of a model,
I think she believes in God.
Is actually something that we use our intellect to arrive at these conclusions. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not an anarchist, and I'm not a horrible person that I describe myself to be. I'm a Muslim, and as a Muslim, even if there was £1 million left somewhere there, I cannot and I will not take it, because I know that every single penny of that £1 million, I have to account for it in the hereafter, in the day of judgment, which didn't belong to me. Okay? This is because I believe in a creator who gave us the sense of justice. Justice demands that the money that doesn't belong to me, I shouldn't take it myself.
Yes,
but your justice comes from where?
Society, by my other fellow human beings, by the law. I have to pay. You pay your taxes. And some people don't. Some people really don't, and that's not good. Some people don't go to jail. Some people do get away with it, and that
you're basically.
Why should it come from other? Now, one question, sorry. Why should it come from other human beings? When we are all equal, they're not a god over me. I'm not superior than them. They're not superior than me. Why should my justice, my way of living, should come from another human being? Why? It's a big why.
It's not a single human being. It's collective groups of.
It doesn't matter. We are all equal.
Just to add to your point, though. Just to add to your point, Audrey. Do you remember in the Indian subcontinent, in India, for hundreds, if not thousands of years, there was this cultural norm, not an exception, called Shotidah. Shotidah is a bride, a woman who's married, will be burnt alive when her husband passes away. She'll be put into the fire. I don't know the mechanism. I don't want to go into these graphics, but she'll be burnt alive.
Yes.
A culture.
And there are many things
now,
like
this cultural norm was agreed on by the society. Now, I'm sure you agree with that, right? Because it's a society that agrees.
I did not say societies were always
just
right.
So basically now, what we are now coming up with, so what we are now coming up with, societal laws and regulation, as the brother is saying, is something that is going to constantly change due to our whims and desires and our ideas and so on.
Yes, because as we have seen, society constantly changes and flows and goes back and forth.
That means there's no right and wrong.
It means it changes. But it means
No, changes means there cannot be any right and wrong. Shoti daho, wife burning alive was a right thing to do. If you were not doing that yourself or your family, you'd be committing something called societal wrong.
Was wrong to do.
Yeah, societal wrong. So if you were there back then, before it's now outlawed and totally removed from our culture, if back then, if you didn't burn yourself willingly, for example, when there, you'll be considered to be committing a wrong, societal wrong. So as you're now defining, the rights and wrongs seems to be defined by the society, which can change. But the system that we are introducing to you, as you probably realize, this is an introduction to our system of Islam. Society doesn't make things right and wrong. There is an absolute standard which we can use, from which we'll say this is right, this is wrong. Because that only then we can say something is right, something is wrong. Otherwise, you cannot come along and say this is right, this is wrong. So the system that Islam provides, which I would like you to look into,
someone has already given me multiple.
Sure, to look into, you will see that this goes on these standards where the Creator exists. There's another one. Yep. The Creator exists, and the Creator has created us for a purpose. He didn't just create us all mere play and jest. Created for a reason. This universe will one day come to an end, like our lives will come to an end, but that will not be the end of it. There will be judgment and accountability based on our belief and deeds, and then there will be another life, which is life either in a good place of tranquility, happiness, joy and bliss, or another place where there is misery, suffering, torture and pain. We would like you to consider, where would you like to go?
Sister, you see what what happened a while ago when you go back to a Creator and you bring back the conversation where we was from before, where because talking about the creation, the beginning of creation of the universe, the Big Bang, and that implied that we're talking about a Creator. When we talk about the three options and we turn on two of them because it didn't make no sense logically. Yes, but logically, I was just taking a logical journey with you because you're a logical lady. That it didn't make no sense logically, and you was agreeing that yes, that doesn't make no sense, turn it down. So the only one that left standing that makes sense is that there got to be something, somewhat, you can call it for the moment because it's anonymous, you don't know what, something, somewhat, an external entity that caused the Big Bang and give existence to the universe.
Okay, so let's entertain this hypothetical. We did your hypothetical of you're a corrupt human in a world with no God. Okay, there is a God. How do you know your story is correct? How do you know your book is the right one?
We can actually explore the idea of this possibility, just like we explored. Right. So if there was a God, what do we expect the nature, the attributes of this God be? Because how do we say this God exists in the first place? This God has to be in existence eternally, with no beginning, first of all. Because if something exists now, there has to be something always. Yeah. So that Creator, if we now exist, there's a Creator.
I don't know that, but sure.
No. In this model, now there's a Creator.
Cool.
It is now rationally conclusible, or what's the word you say?
Conclusive.
No, something that you can conclude. Rationally we can conclude, you can see how my English is, sometimes I'm stuck. We can only rationally conclude that being, God, has to be eternal. It cannot be a being that is began to exist at one point. Yeah. So an eternal being. Okay. Now, if a being exists eternally, that being has to exist with maximal perfection. Would not be limited by any imperfection. Give an example to illustrate. If that being has created this universe, demonstrating this power and energy involved, that being will be all-powerful, not be limited, like I'm a limited power, I can only do certain things. No, because if a being didn't exist, there is nothing that restricts eternally that power that being, the Creator has. So the power that being will have will be unlimited, absolute power. Likewise, if that being has knowledge, will not be limited. not be bound. Will be unlimited, all knowledgeable.
Yes.
So if you now use this example about the will be the will which will be absolute as well. Will of an Almighty, which means if that being wishes something be, and it will happen.
Yes.
There will be nothing restricting this feature.
My question is more, how do you know in your faith, why is yours the right one? That's precisely the process that we are coming to use. So now we realize if a being exists, that being must possess certain characteristics. Being the originator while not being originated. Has to be one. You cannot have more than one absolute. Why not?
Okay, let me give you an example again. If we envisage somehow there could be two absolutes of nature, what's going to happen to our universe? Is this something that we can even think about? Suppose now there are two such gods. Two such gods. For the sake of argument, we can say 5, but let's start with 2. And God number 1 and 2, to make it simple. God wants, number 1 wants me to disappear from existence right now. All-powerful God, I should be able to annihilate from existence. No. This is what God number 1 is capable of by definition, by conclusion. That if you exist eternally with all the power, then if you want to destroy something, you are capable of destroying. So God number 1 is able to destroy me from existence, right? Now, if you have another God, who says, no, I want this horrible person to live another 50 years or so.
Okay, but there are other religions who have the exact same.
No, let's understand. We are now trying to understand why there can only be one of such a being. If there were two beings, so God number 2 says, no, I want Mansur to be alive and well for another 100 years. What's going to happen? According to the definition, God number 2 is totally capable, totally able to keep me alive for another 100 years.
But if there were multiple gods, that situation would not, like based on your version of what a god is, that situation would not happen. That would be totally in sync, totally perfect.
No. Why?
Like it would be.
Sorry, but the possibility could occur, even if it didn't happen. Even if they agreed that they would never disagree, the logical possibility will still be there that they could disagree, which is a problem.
And can I just add one point? If there's multiple gods, if there's multiple gods, which is eternal and all powerful, and this is inevitable that day. Remember, when we say the creator, then deductive thinking tells you that when you create something, you own it. You have ownership right. So now we see So we see the homogeneous nature. We see the homogeneous nature of the universe, the solar system, and how things moving, the order moving. So if there's multiple gods, that means each god, what they created, they have ownership. They would have taken away what they have created. So then therefore you'd have seen.
Does that make sense though?
Yeah, because this one god, why is yours different?
No, okay. No, I want. Okay, so logically and rationally, it makes sense to be one god.
Sure.
Okay. So why is this one God? Now, the version that we are presenting to you is actually a God who is the originator without being originated, everlasting with no end, the one who is absolute, the one who is only, and the one who is unique, has to be unique, and the one who doesn't have any lineage, because he won't be one anymore, there'll be more than one, or children, or any parentage where any parents and forefathers and so on. Yeah.
For example, in Christianity, it's all 3 in 1. It's not multi. There is the Son.
Would that make sense though? 3 in 1.
No, because they are the same being as well.
It's not really the same being. One of the things we come here in Speaker's Corner, as you realize, Audrey, we discuss this concept of Trinity, and you'll find that actually I haven't met anyone who coherently has explained rationally. They will say, look, Trinity is not something that you should use your mind for. You should stick to the book, Revelation, because it's a mystery. Mystery card displays when something is obviously irrational. So Trinity cannot be rationally explained coherently at all. Yeah. So when you said
I won't be able to win this.
No, it's not winning, Audrey. If you think if it's winning and losing, let's end the discussion here. We don't come here to win an argument.
No, I am
Okay, I apologize if you thought, I do apologize sincerely to you, Audrey. If you ever felt this is about winning the argument over you, I think I'm going to leave this conversation right now, okay? Leave you time to think, okay? But what I will do is, because we did not finish our conversation, that our belief is Islam.
Yes.
We are Muslims, submit and surrender to the will of one true God. And this is what we would have called you to. But as I say, I'm leaving the conversation now. I would like you to, read the Quran, the book of these Muslims, and then perhaps maybe one another day when you speak with another Muslim somewhere, continue your discussion, Audrey. Continue your discussion. Is that okay? Nice talking to you.
Thank you for talking to me. I hope you're happy in your religion. I hope your God serves you well.
I hope God guides all of us, you and me, closer and closer to the truth. Take care.
God must have the when you have to, you said, you give the example, say, well, okay, there's
No. I've talked to you for the past while, and you tried with me. I was just
Finish?
Що ти думаєш, що стопки?